Yeah, so I was saying, when testing these two critical points, you first have to draw the number line. Then after drawing the number line, you put your critical points there. You have -2, you have 3/2 there. So then after doing that, you know to say this region that is this side, it's less than it's less than -2. So if it's less than -2, I'm going to put that same symbol, which is I'm going to put that same less than symbol. So I'm going to say x this side, all the values of x this side are less than -2. Now, because there's this less or equal to, I'm also going to put that equal to symbol there. And the numbers between this -2 and that are simply just denoted by -2 less or equal to x less or equal to 3/2. The numbers greater than 3/2, we just say x greater than or equal to 3/2. Then we get these numbers and test them using this equation there. So I'm going to copy this same equation on top there, 2x minus 3 in brackets. Then we have x plus 2 there. Then we say this is less or equal to 0. So I'm getting that from there. This is less or equal to 0. So I'll get any number that is less than -2. I'll replace it there and there to see the answer that I'm going to get. So if the answer that I'm going to get is positive, I will compare that positive number to this symbol there. I'll say, is that positive number less or equal to 0? If the answer is yes, then the region is accepted. If the answer is no, then the region is denied. Yes, it's not part of the answers, in short. So let's test this part, this side. So we get any number that is less than -2. We can get that number, we can get -3. So when you put -3 there, we're going to have 2 times -3. So I'm going to get the answer as -6. -6 minus 3, the answer is simply just -9. So I can, if I want, I can put -9 there. But for the sake of making my work simple or easier, I'm just going to put negative there. And then I'll also put the same -3 which I found this side, I'll put it where there's x there. So -3 plus 2, -3 plus 2, the answer is simply just -1. So I'm not going to write the whole -1 here. To make my work easier, I'm just going to write negative there. I'll just get the symbol there, which is just the negative. So negative times negative, the answer is positive. So you ask yourself now, is a positive number less than 0? If the answer is yes, then the region is accepted. But in this case, we know that all positive numbers are greater than 0. And then we have a less than symbol here. So meaning this region is not accepted because positive is greater than 0. So this region is not accepted. So we move on to the region between -2 and 3/2. So we can get any number that is between -2 and 3/2. Which I like getting a 0, because when I talk about any number between a negative and a positive number, I can even get a 0. So if I put a 0 where there's x there, I'm going to have 2 times 0, which is 0. 0 minus 3, the answer is -3. So this -3, I'm not going to put a -3, I'm going to put a negative symbol there. So this negative symbol multiplied by the answer that I'm going to get here. So when I put when I put a 0 there where there's x, I'm going to have 0 plus 2. So 0 plus 2, the answer is a positive number. So this positive number, 0 plus 2, that will be a +2. So this +2, I'm not going to write a +2, I'm just going to write a positive symbol there. So negative times positive, the answer is simply just negative. Is a negative number less than 0? The answer is yes, meaning this region is accepted as well. So when we move on to this other region, this side, we get any number that is greater or equal to 3/2. So this number, I can even get a 2 or a 3, because I know that 3/2 is just the same as 1.5. So any number that is greater than 1.5, I can even get a 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, any number as long as it's greater than 1.5. So I'm getting a 3 in this case. So if I put a 3 there, I'm going to have 6 minus 3, the answer will be +3. Rather, 6 minus 3, yes, the answer will be +3. So +3, I'm just going to write a positive there. And then I'll also put a 3 there. So 3 plus 2, the answer is +5, which I'm also going to write a positive there. So positive times positive, the answer is positive. So this positive, is it less than 0? No, because we know that all positive numbers are greater than 0. So is a positive number less than 0? The answer is no. So this region is also not accepted. So the answer that I wanted us to find is simply just -2 less or equal to x less or equal to 3/2. So this can also be written in interval notation as this part here. Are we all clear? And I'm sure this is now clear. Can move on to the next question. Okay. So this question is also straightforward. When you have such a question, to find the critical points of this equation, you simply just equate the numerator to 0, even the denominator to 0. So when you equate the numerator to 0, you're going to have x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then the denominator, you're going to have x minus 2 is equal to 0. So the answer that you find after equating these two to zeros, the answers are the ones that we're going to get as critical points. So we're going to have x. So we're going to have x less than, we're going to have x is equal to -1 and x is equal to 2. So these are the two critical points. Then after having these two critical points, you take them on the number line as well. You put them there, -1, and then you put your 2 there. Then you begin to test the points using this same equation. So that is straightforward. I've explained how to test the points on the number line. Okay, so let me just explain a bit on a question which looks like this one. So when you have such a question, you're going to have x plus 2 over x minus 4 there. So this 3 is going to come on the other side of the equal sign, which you are going to have, you're going to have it as -3 this side. So you have less or equal to 0. So you find the common denominator. The common denominator will simply just be x minus 4 there. So x minus 4 into x minus 4, the answer is 1. So 1 times x plus 2, the answer is x plus 2. And then once you have that, you say 1 into x minus 4, the answer is x minus 4 times -3. You can say minus -3 times x minus 4. So we're saying this is less or equal to 0. So you just simplify that. So you're going to have x plus 2 minus 3x plus 12. Then everything divided by x minus 4 less or equal to 0. So x minus 3x, the answer is -2x. Then 2 plus 12, the answer is 14. Then everything divided by x minus 4. So this is less or equal to 0. So you equate the numerator to 0. You're going to say -2x plus 14 is equal to 0. And the denominator, you also equate it to 0. You're going to have x minus 4 is equal to 0. So when you solve the numerator there, you're going to find the value of x as x is equal to 7. When you solve the denominator, the value of x will simply just be equal to 4. So these two numbers are your critical points. They're the ones that you use on the number line. So the emphasis I wanted to make on this one is that you don't have to cross multiply. When you're dealing with intervals, never should you cross multiply. Never should you ever cross multiply. It's wrong to do that in intervals. That's the emphasis I wanted to make. Same applies to the last question here. Don't say this times that, this times that. That is wrong when it comes to intervals. So you have to bring everything to one side of the equal sign, meaning you're going to have x plus 3 over x minus 1. Then when this whole part goes to the other side of the equal sign, you're going to have it as minus x. Yes, you're going to have it as a minus x minus 3, everything over x plus 1. Then you have less than 0. Then you find the common denominator, which is just x minus 1 times x plus 1. So x minus 1 into that, you're going to remain with x plus 1. X plus 1 plus x, times x plus 3. You're going to have x plus 1 times x plus 3. There's a minus, open brackets, x plus 1 into x plus 1 times x minus 1. The answer is x minus 1. So x minus 1 times x minus 3, the answer will just be x minus 3 times x minus 1. They say less than 0. So here it's just a matter of multiplying these two. You multiply this one and that one, you also multiply this one and that one. So when you do the multiplication there, this will be straightforward. You just say this times that. Everything in this first bracket will multiply with everything in the second. Everything in the first brackets you multiply with everything in the second there. That's how you do the multiplication. So I'm going to have this as x squared. X times x, that is x squared. And then x times 3, that will be 3x. 1 times 3, 1 times x, that is x. X plus 3x, you get 4x there. And then 1 times 3, you get 3. And then you have minus, open brackets, have x times x, you're getting x squared. X times -1, it's -1. And then, it's negative x. And then negative 3x times x, the answer is negative 3x. Negative x minus 3x, the answer is negative 4x. And then you are going to have negative 3 times -1, the answer is positive 3. And everything divided by, this is the difference of two squares, which is simply just x squared minus 1, which is less than 0. So you just have to simplify that. Of course, when you subtract this and that will go 4x minus negative 4x, that will give us positive 8x. And then 3x minus 3x, the answer is 0. So we're going to have on top positive 3x, and then denominator there, we're going to have x squared minus 1. Then we have less than 0. So now it's the duty of you, it's your duty now to find the critical point. So you equate the numerator to 0. You're going to have 8x is equal to 0. You also equate the denominator to 0. So when you find the solution for the numerator will give you, you divide everything by 8, the value of x will remain 0. And then the denominator there is a difference of two squares. So you're going to have x plus 1 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. So you equate x plus 1 to 0. You also equate x minus 1 to 0. Then from there, you're going to have x is equal to -1 and x is equal to positive 1. So these are your critical points. Then you go on the number line and test everything. All right, so thank you very much for watching tonight's lesson. I hope we have understood. I'm going to send the exercise after this. Yeah, and then you should all be making sure that you're answering the exercises. They are very helpful, and I'm able to tell at least whether you're understanding or not when you answer the exercise. Okay, so let's move on to ICT.